June 29th in Napanee, Ontario, Canada, I'm going to be defending my Hardcore Roadtrip title against Big Daddy Oreo. The guy who they've been saying that this is going to be my demise. This is the guy who is the biggest man in Canada. I've been telling the gentleman Jack that this individual doesn't have the pedigree to face one of the hardcore legends in professional wrestling. I'm the man who put New Jack 6 feet under. I'm the man who put stress on his heart because he couldn't handle the Kingpin. And now you want to put me against Big Daddy. I'm going to keep it 100, Big Daddy. I told Gentleman Jack on the show, on Shooting from the Hip, that you have nothing to back you. And people have been putting a lot of stuff in your head, telling you that you have the talent, you have the size, you have the ability to beat me. And dude, you need to get those people out of your head, because the fact is, you don't have none of that. So June 29th, I'm going to be defending this title, and I'm going to be walking away with this. Brother, be prepared, because Big Daddy Oreo, you have an expiration date, and that is June 29th in Napanee, Ontario, Canada. I'll see you there, brother.
Call 54 to base! Call 54 to base! This is Lieutenant Cole Toa. I need immediate backup. Officer down in the vicinity of 8th and Central. I'm being chased by what appears to be a rogue street gang. Repeat, the Baldies! The Baldies! Wait, stop!
Welcome, fans, to a live edition, another edition of the Shooting from the Hip podcast. My name is Jack Kilby, Executive Vice President of Great North Wrestling, and behind the man behind the man, is the Kingpin, the king of the streets, Mr. Angel Medina, who you just saw has some big-time talk to back up today on this very show when his opponent, Big Daddy Roy, shows up for a discussion. Kingpin, welcome.
Well, brother, first of all, you need to address me correctly, and you need to address it with this on my shoulder, the Hardcore Road Trip Champion. That's what you need to put that across the board right now, because we're almost there. The show is, 2 weeks away?
2 weeks away, exactly.
2 weeks away, bro. So I need to be acknowledged. I need to be addressed. I need to be respected. Look at that. 20 pounds ago, baby. I am the longest champion in Canadian history, I think. Well, right?
Maybe professional wrestling history right now. You are still the reigning and defending Hardcore Road Trip heavyweight champion. And I'm sure the fans saw earlier today, I put out the poster of your last defense, and that was against the War Machine Rhino. Do you have any memories of that? I was there, of course, and it was one heck of a hard-fought battle.
Brother, that match was tremendous, man. It took me to new heights. Rhino is somebody you can't sleep on. He's an individual that, tested me. But I knew at that time that I had what it took. He was, ECW TV champion. He faced like Rob Van Dam, Sandman and stuff, but he never came across, somebody like me. And that's the best part about it, man. He was not ready for the extreme violence that I was bringing him. And that, I just pulled one over on him.
Well, I will say this, this night coming up, June the 29th in Napanee, Ontario, Canada, there's the lovely poster of which you're right in the middle of it with the gold. It's going to be a very historic night, and we'll talk about some of the general highlights of the card in a bit, but I think it can't be overstated that you are going to be tested, and we're going to do some talking today, but in 2 weeks you're going to be taken to the limit, I believe, against Big Daddy Roy. And the critics out there are probably going to say, yeah, Kingpin, he was an ECW original, he's hardcore, he really took it out of New Jack, he has all these credentials, but this is 2024, and you're going to have something to prove. I know you think some of this is funny, But you're
It
gonna
is funny. I'm laughing. This ain't no like one of those promos when the guy's like, Ted DiBiase, that fake laugh. This is a legitimate laugh. I'm not sleeping on Big Daddy Oreo, but the point is, man, I've been hitting the cardio. I've been hitting the gym, but he's been hitting the buffet line. He's been sitting by eating snow cones and eating poutine and, thinking that, he just got one over on me. This is a big mistake for him. He needs to realize this is not an opportunity. It's a funeral. And, he needs to pull out. I'm giving him 2 weeks to just walk away. I'm being generous. I'm seriously being generous. I'm telling him you need to walk away. I'm at a point in my life at an age where I'm a little bit more humble and a little bit more caring for my opponents. So I just really want to give him the opportunity to just walk away and just enjoy life and just, enjoy his time on earth to the fullest,
Well, all the sarcasm notwithstanding, I think I've said this for the past few months, and I stand by it. And the fans of Great North Wrestling who witnessed Big Daddy Roy at the Renfrew Reckoning saw that the man is not only big and strong and flexible, but he's got some gas in that tank. He came out on top of about a 15-minute encounter with a very worthy opponent. And honestly, Kingpin, I know you have a completely different opinion, but I really do think you're taking him lightly. And that belt, that lovely belt that you have there, that historic belt, you might want to just grip it a little tighter there, because that could be leaving your possession.
If you think so, everybody has their opinion. Everybody thinks this is the end of the Kingpin. This is the end of his title reign. But every time I prove people wrong, every time people be, eating a big plate of humble pie, because I always come on top. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard to it's just glorious, it's just hard to be this glorious and just, try to like keep it, keep it down a notch or two,
Well, we're going to have Big Daddy Roy on to respond to some of your comments, which have been very inflammatory. But before we do that, I want to get into some of the big news items of the week. But before we do that, want to just take a moment out to talk about how difficult airline travel is in the modern era, and specifically how the everybody that watches pro wrestling, they don't see a lot of the logistics that go into booking a show. And one of the major headaches is travel, and especially a company like Great North Wrestling, where we don't just use local people trained in a storage shed. We have stars, bona fide stars, of which you're one, Rene Dupree, on, coming in for the June 29th Napanee Schools Out Slam. But the number one headache from a promoter's point of view is air travel. And I can say without a doubt that your travel logistics with Air Canada have been the worst I've ever dealt with. So a big thumbs down to them and to the company that was assisting with the travel arrangements. But I'm happy to say, Kingpin, and you know this, we've been trying to get this done for a while, but we do have you booked and you are going to be there. You won't have a canceled flight or an arrangement that went south as an excuse not to bring that gold.
Well, the thing is, it was just funny that, we've been trying to get me down there for quite a while. And every time something's been happening with my flight, and I don't think it's the airline. I think it's the company itself. I think you guys are just playing games, don't want the Kingpin to come down. You promote me to get asses in seats, and then all of a sudden you say, hey, Kingpin didn't no-show. He's afraid to face. Yeah, drink that swig of beer, bro. Get that liquid courage down that throat. Because the point is, like I said, I'm keeping 100. That I just feel like, you guys are working some politics, and stuff like that. But luckily, what's funny? Luckily, I've been in this business for quite a while. I defended this title, in I think in 2014 also. I think, what was that, the second show?
Yeah.
And the second show, the funny thing is, I knew my buddy, Justin Trudeau before he became prime minister because he became prime minister in 2015. So I knew him when he was nobody, and when he heard that I won this title, he reached out to me and he said, Angel, you don't know me, I'm just a local Canadian, but I think you're awesome. I think you're great. You will represent Canada to the fullest. Thank you. Keep in contact. And we've been keeping contact for years until I didn't know he became prime minister. And we've been buddies ever since. So, luckily I reached out to him. Luckily, I was like, hey, I'm having problems with these airlines and, trying to fly into Canada. I think, the company that I'm coming up there to wrestle for is pulling some high spots and they don't want me to come in. Can you pull some strings? Can you use your political power to get the Kingpin across the Canadian border? He said, brother, you don't even have to say anything else. I got you. And not even 10 minutes, I got the phone call. Kingpin, everything's taken care of. You're on the first flight, first class, and we're going to take care of you. And all of a sudden now you're telling the fans like, oh, we've been having problems with the airline. I don't know what's going on. But my boy Trudeau, came through like always.
Well, you certainly have a rich inner life because that was definitely not what happened. It was yours truly's blood, sweat, and hours on the phone. So once again, big thumbs down to Air Canada, and hopefully in the future we'll have less of a problem. But before we get into more about your match, I wanted to ask you about one of the marquee conflicts that's coming up on June 29th. Tickets available now at ticketweb.ca. They're going really well, and for a reason. One of the return matches that we're going to have, not return matches, but returns, is the return of Hannibal, the Blood Hunter. He'll be in action against a mystery opponent, a guy that I'm not going to announce for a while until the 20th of June when I do another show with Jeff Hoover, the co-promoter, running down the entire card. But it's a guy who is going to test Hannibal and is known to Great North Wrestling audiences. This will be Hannibal's first match back since May of last year, and boy, is he prepared. I'll just show a little promo from him and get your thoughts, Kingpin.
Sun has not set on Hannibal's career. It is not dead. Whoever gets in my way, June the 29th in Napanee, you are going to feel the violence, the rage, and the fury of Hannibal, the Blood Hunter.
What do you think of that?
Well, first of all, it looks like you was having some technical difficulties trying to get that going, and that's what I'm talking about. A great athlete like the Blood Hunter, a great champion like the Kingpin. Every time we try to cut a promo, all of a sudden there's technical difficulties. I heard the promo; it was good until the feed started like tweaking out on me. So again, two great athletes come into Napanee to put boots to asses. Definitely. It's just going to be awesome, man. It's like a vacation, bro. I don't know. I'm getting paid to come and relax.
Well, we shall see about that. But one thing I can tell you and the fans with absolute certainty is Hannibal had an unfortunate injury last year, and he has been training to get back into ring shape. And I'm Hannibal's friend and business partner, but I'll tell you, he's a scary dude. He scares me, and I'm not a little tiny person myself. And I feel that the opponent that has signed for this match that I'm going to announce on the 20th of June better be bringing their best A game, because he's got something to prove. He's re-energized, and he wants to make it known that he's at the start of another big run in Great North Wrestling. And he's going to make sure that violence and that sheer aggression that he brings to the table, that's going to be turned up a few notches. So that's one of the matches that the fans are going to want to see.
I feel, my heart goes out to the individual that's facing the Blood Hunter. This is something that's, I'm using a Vince McMahon terminology. There's no chance in hell that this opponent is going to beat the Blood Hunter. There's no chance in hell that this individual is even going to just make a dent in this great athlete that he is. So, best of luck. Best of luck in your future endeavors after this. You probably be going, working in Napanee and one of those ice cream parlors, because you can't wrestle anymore. But hey, sometimes you just got to take it with stride,
Well, Kingpin, the moment has arrived. I see that we are pleased to welcome your opponent, Big Daddy Roy, who is into some musical shenanigans as we speak. Welcome to the show, Big Daddy. How are you today?
Well, I figured since I was in your little waiting room, I had to play my own waiting music. So I was actually writing a song for this upcoming event, and it'll be premiering next week, only on Facebook. So how you guys doing?
Excellent. Before we get into the matter at hand in terms of your match on June the 29th in Napanee for that Hardcore Road Trip title that Kingpin has right there, could you let the fans know about your extensive history in the wrestling business and some of your highlights that I'm personally familiar with, which is why the Great North Wrestling Championship Committee deemed this to be a good match to book because of what you bring to the table.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me again. I started wrestling about, I'm going to say 8 or 9 years ago. In college, I wrestled, I played hockey, actually played pretty big time hockey, broke my back. And once that healed, what do? You go train to be a wrestler. So I actually, I wrestled my whole life, but professional wrestling, I started with Al Snow's Body Slammer Gym and head trainer Wade Kreiderman. Trained in a barn with no canvas, taking hundreds of bumps on a 16 by 16 foot ring, and eventually was deemed good to go. Right, that's how you get your start. You get the nod from somebody like an Al Snow, like a Wayne Kreiderman. Largely wrestled Canada, U.S., Mexico. A lot of people do know me, but in Napanee, it's actually Big Daddy's debut. So I'm excited to get to Napanee. As you know, in this area, longest reigning big time pro wrestling champion, longest reigning SVW champion, longest reigning Gatineau pro wrestling champion. I can go on. Some of the small accolades compared to legend like I'm looking at right now. However, I've had opportunities with the WWE, with TNA. I've been on TNA, OVW, all over North America. So just excited to get to Napanee for the first time. Surprised I've never wrestled there, but we're going to bring a hell of a show. And this is going to, and I speak of all those titles, but that right there is the title that Big Daddy wants.
Let me address that real quick. It's funny, and I respect his accolades. I've seen that this kid has been going around the world doing what he needs to do. But the first thing that popped into my head is he had to emphasize that, my back injury. That's what you're going to use as an excuse after I whoop your ass and leave you laying in that ring. And you're going to be like, hey, brother, it's my back, due to my hockey career, I couldn't carry the ball, Kingpin, So, that's what I'm seeing. That's the one thing that popped out on this interview right here, that he had to bring up his back injury. The Kingpin don't bring up injuries. I bring up aggression. So, it feels good to be champ.
You done?
No, go ahead, son.
Yeah. I don't bring that up lightly. I mean, you're the one who's going to need to find a permanent retirement home by the time I'm done with you. So June 30th, you better get to looking.
You mean 29th?
Well, the day after, when you get, cobweb clear.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love the heart. I love the passion that this kid has. You know what I'm saying? But the fact is, man, you got to understand, this is a man that had been around the world, faces a lot of opponents. This is the man that just put New Jack 6 feet under. I'm the man who put that guy under. You know what I'm saying? So don't take it lightly. You think because I'm 52 that, but I have, what are you going to say? You going to say something? Gentleman Jack?
I'm going to say something right now because you accused him, Big Daddy, of taking you lightly. I've been saying for months, and Big Daddy, I know you've witnessed some of the comments that Kingpin has made over the past few months that are indicative of him taking you lightly. But is that not something that is to your advantage overall?
This for Big Daddy?
Yes.
Well, the only thing I hear on the other end from, again, a legend like yourself is another excuse. I mean, you're mentioning your age, 52. I didn't know you're 52. You look pretty good, actually.
Black
But
don't
if you
crack,
want to use
baby.
that,
Black don't crack.
yeah, I mean, listen, man. I know you're from New York City. I know you're ECW legend. But Big Daddy, you shouldn't take lightly, because not too long ago in my hockey career, I was fighting the toughest guys in the world every single night, the toughest athletes on the planet on skates. So imagine what I'll do on the ground, on my feet. Imagine what I'll do to you. But that's for the fans to find out, right? June 29th.
You know, and the funny thing, man, Big Daddy, I'm gonna be honest, man. I respect you. You know, that's the thing. There's no disrespect here. You know, the reason I was putting out those videos is just to get under your skin, because people in Canada are like, hey, man, because I have a lot of fans out there, and they're like reaching out, hey, Kingpin,
A lot of fans.
Don't hold it against him. You know, he's just trying to make a name of himself. He's just trying to put himself out there.
Absolutely.
So don't beat him up too bad. So, but again, you're a big dude. You're strong. You're young. You're agile. But I got knowledge, and that's the best part about it, man. For all the years of experience that I had wrestling, now I don't need to use brawn. I don't need to use strength. I just got skills and smarts that will outsmart you, bro. You know, so you take that big mountain rock belt, that guitar, and play it, and fucking take it to the next level, because, son, this ain't going nowhere. He can play.
Hey, that song is actually, you're the subject matter, so I hope you like it when it drops. But that experience you can't teach, and that's what I'm trying to gain, and all this respect in the world, brother. But June 29th, there's only one way I'm going, and that's up. And if you're in the way, well, you better get off the tracks.
All right, well, but hey, Gentleman Jack, I just wanted to bring something up here. I'm not an avid drinker. I drink once in a while. But this right here, I bought this bottle because I'm a huge Elvis Presley mark. Bought this bottle because this is the bottle I'm going to be celebrating when I get back to the United States after I beat Big Daddy. But the funny part about it, I only paid $20 for it because he is not worth a big expensive bottle. I bought expensive bottles for like New Jack, Devon, Shane Douglas, when I beat them, and I drank some good liquor, but I'm drinking the bottom of the barrel liquor right here because this is what you're worth right here. This is what you're worth.
I just want to, Big Daddy, ask you one other question and get Kingpin's response. It would seem to me that this is a very interesting match. And again, hats off to the Great North Wrestling Championship Committee for making this match. But this is an interesting match because if you're familiar with the history of that belt, now, albeit being brief, Kingpin defeated some big-time players in this industry. We talked about Rhino, but he was also originally beat Scorpio for it, and there was a whole tournament of major legends that he beat. This motivation for you, although you're an accomplished wrestler, you've held titles that you laid out, this would really put you on to that next level. Now, on the other hand, despite his inability to admit it, he's got something to prove in that he hasn't defended that title in a while, and a lot of people want to know if the King of the Streets still is the King of the Streets. So I'll ask you, Big Daddy, to give me your thoughts on what will be the more pressing element in this match, and do you think you're going to pull it off?
Well, Jack, I'm a big gambler. Love gambling my whole life. If I looked at the betting line right now, it would probably be overwhelmingly for Kingpin. The experience you mentioned, he's the current reigning champion. He's held it for years. So what are the odds that someone comes along and takes it? Now, you mentioned ECW, you mentioned all those guys, you mentioned the experience. I've actually trained a little bit, well, actually a lot. Tommy Dreamer, Jerry Lynn, a lot of those guys. And I might have a little skinny on you, So I'm not going to reveal it all right now, but come June 29th, there might be something up my sleeve, so to speak. But, to me, it's all about having something to prove. And you mentioned those other titles. This one eclipses all of that. This is the biggest title I could be going after right now. So in 2 weeks, there's nothing on Big Daddy's mind except for training, getting stronger, getting mentally prepared to take that belt.
And
The
your
only
thoughts,
way,
Kingpin?
wait, hold up. The only way you're gonna get your hands on this belt is when you carry my bag to the airport and shake my hand and say, "Champ, you're the man." And then I get on my plane and go back to the United States. The thing is this, brother. Life is too short, man. And I've been holding this title for a very long time, man. I'm not gonna let it go.
Right.
You know, put it this way, man, and I'm being serious. When you're in the ring and you finally realize that you just lost to the Kingpin, and you had those tears welting up in your eyes, and you just brush them away, and you focus, you're gonna be on your knees and you're gonna say, "All hail the Kingpin. You are the king of the Canadian streets." So, brother, get ready, man. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm ready to whoop some ass. And also, Gentleman Jack, yeah, I beat Too Cold, but just you forgot one thing. I beat the black off him. He was albino by the time I finished with him.
Well, you got the jokes, Kingpin, for sure. You're a very
And the skills.
and the skills, and you're a very funny guy. But I'm going to
Funny
go
how?
on. I'm going to
Am I
go
a
on the
clown?
record. No,
Do I
no,
amuse
I'm
you?
not. Yeah, okay, Joe. I'm going to go. See, this is the jokes, but I'm going to go on record, and it's no disrespect to you or your legacy, but I see this man, Big Daddy, leaving with that title. That's my official
Well, the
prediction.
way the company has been being run, great up north, messing up our flights, messing with, Bud Hunter's promos. Yeah, of course you're going to be on his side, But look, I got the belt. I got my buddy Trudeau on my side. Once I beat it, I'm going to go to his house. We're going to have a couple of drinks, eat some poutine, and, and enjoy life, man. Hey, Trudeau is my man, bro. If I was Canadian, I'd be voting for him, I'm lucky I'm not Mexican because I would have been.
I thought you wanted the people to like you.
Hey, man, they do like me. Trudeau's a great guy, bro. The guy is aces.
Hey, but by the way, I appreciate the endorsement. Don't need the endorsement, but I appreciate it. And there is a little alternate scenario. You talk about the end of the match, the end of the night. Everyone's looking at us, but it's going to be you, my friend, looking up at those bright lights in Napanee, Ontario. And everyone's going to be echoing those three words. Who's your daddy?
Man,
well, I want to thank you very much, Big Daddy, for coming on. But we'll look forward to the debut of the song. But just so the fans can find you, where can you be found on the social media?
On social media?
Yes, sir.
Big Daddy D-Roy on Instagram, Big Daddy D-Roy on Facebook, and soon the next hardcore champion, Big Daddy D-Roy.
Hey, Big Daddy, why don't you do me a favor and send me your address so I can send your wife some condolence and flowers, so, say it'd be no hard feelings, So I'm a good guy. I'm a great guy, man.
I'd ask for your address, but nobody wants to go to that crap hole, New York City, so I'm good there. Thanks.
Horrible.
Well, fans, this is going to be one of our co-main events. Really looking forward to it. It's clearly, thanks to Kingpin, become it's becoming a disrespectful sort of situation, which I'm kind of surprised about. But soon all the talking will be over and it will be settled June 29th in Napanee, Ontario.
There is no disrespect when it comes to this man in that squared circle. Zero disrespect, all the respect in the world. But like I said, I'm going this way.
Well, technically, you're going this way, looking up at the lights. But Gentleman Jack, just make sure that limousine is waiting for me at the airport. I don't like waiting. And make sure I got those green M&Ms right in that little coffee cup. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we'll see about that. But D-Roy, thank you very much. And we'll look forward to seeing you down the road, but June 29th in Napanee. Take care.
Thank you.
That motherfucker don't want none of this. That motherfucker don't want you. Did you hear? Welcome to Napanee. I thought it was Johnny Cash, bro. He was a quivering.
No, actually, I thought he was giving you your props, but he was being respectful. But again, we'll see how it turns out. We're getting close. There's a lot of speculation, but I think out of all of the matches on the card, this really interests me a lot too, because I'm wondering if you're working me by appearing to take him lightly, and if you are really taking him lightly, it's going to be a mistake, and I stand by my prediction.
I don't take nobody lightly, but I have confidence. Remember, he fights great, but I'm a great fighter. That's a difference between between me and him. You know what I mean? And just and since we're talking about Big Daddy and he likes to eat a lot, I'm gonna quote something from Willy Wonka. Come with me, you will see in a world of pure imagination, because that's what he's in right now. He's in this imaginary world that he thinks he's gonna beat me, and once he realizes that, once he's like, "Oh my God, I've been in a battle," he will acknowledge me. And I'm not using Roman Reigns' line, "Acknowledge me." He will look up at me with tears in his eyes. His wife better not be in the audience. His mom and dad better not be in the audience, because I am not going to hold back. I will beat him like I own him, and I will tell his parents, take care of him, make sure his food is pureed correctly so he doesn't choke, and that's it, man. I mean, it's a wrap, man. I'm telling him he needs to pull out, like his parents needed to do back then before he was born. Pull out.
Oh my. Well, again, fans, we're gonna see how this one turns out. But props.
Let me move this over. Ooh.
To show the gold. Props to the Great North Wrestling Executive Championship Committee for making this one happen. I want to mention one of the other big attractions on this show, and that is the last match of Mario Mancini, and the fact that earlier in the day at the Buckle in Kingston, Ontario, there will be a live Q&A with Pretty Paul Roma of Power and Glory, the Young Stallions, Four Horsemen fame in WCW, and Mario talking anything that the fans want. The Buckle are one of our great sponsors, along with Universal Plumbing. Buckle have been great. And we were going to charge a cover for this, but due to the strong fan response for the show, everybody that shows up can get in for free. And it'll be a very rare opportunity to ask whatever questions you want with two bona fide legends. I am really looking forward to that event, along with Mario Mancini's last match in a six-man tag encounter against the Hardcore Bruisers and Sykes. Bruiser is a Ottawa area legend, and he's also recently, maybe you two were comparing notes, but he also recently on the Hannibal TV, and there you go, and on Facebook put out a promo on Mario. But in terms of that historic last match ever, what do you think? How do you think that one's going to go for Mr. Mancini?
Well, first of all, man, I'm a huge Pretty Paul Roma fan. Ever since Power and Glory, the guy has been in physical top condition when he was wrestling in that tag team. The only thing I hold against him, he trained Tony DeVito. Nobody's perfect, but the thing is Pretty Paul Roma, man, the guy is just a phenomenal athlete. Mario Mancini, I loved him when he was on Piper's Pit when he got slapped in the face. But. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to bring up the past, but I mean, it was a good segment. It's just he couldn't hold up an interview with Piper. But the thing is, great guy, very humble, very respectful. I'm excited to see his last match, but I'm more excited to see Paul Roma in action, man, because I haven't seen him for God knows how long, and I'm just excited. Regardless, how long I've been in the business, man, I'm still a fan. I'm still a mark for the people that I grew up watching when I was a kid. So I'm just stoked.
And we have a ladies match featuring this gal on the poster. Her name is Nikki Duke from Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, but also several promotions in the States, including WOW. She's an incredible talent. She's going to be in action. And I want
against who?
Pardon me?
Who's she wrestling?
She's wrestling an individual that I will do a full profile on before the show, but absolutely. Another talented lady out of Quebec. But I want to just take a second and talk about the main event. And once again, that will feature that dirty, cheating, totally disreputable individual, WWE superstar, former WWE superstar, multi-time tag team champion Rene Dupree, against a man that I've really grown to appreciate, not only his his body of work in the ring, but his intellect. He is a monster of the midway at 6'4", 325 pounds. And I would be talking about the prodigy Nathan Banner at the top of the poster there beside Bloodhunter. He is going to be doing some business for me. He's joined the big money players, and he has assured me that he will be taking out Mr. Dupree. Mr. Dupree, who's got all these bookings I see coming up in Europe and all over the place. He's in high demand. He's in the midst of a career renaissance. But on June the 29th in Napanee, Ontario, Mr. Banner is going to take care of that problem. He's going to solve that problem because, Renee, I haven't forgotten. You hear me talking about it all the time. I'm like a dog with a bone. I haven't forgotten that you viciously assaulted me, gave me a concussion, and now it's payback time, son. And I'm not taking anything away from you again. You look like $1 million. You're on the run of your life, but it's all going to come to an end June 29th in Napanee, Ontario, with my man, the newest member of the Big Money Players, the prodigy Nathan Banner. And you know what? We're not even going to talk about the Canadian title because you're not going to beat Mr. Banner to get that title shot in Petawawa on August 31st. You're done after this. So fans, come out to see the last appearance of Rene Dupree in Great North Wrestling, but likely, very likely, the last appearance ever.
I'm just curious, why are you so mad at Dupree? I mean, wasn't it your fault that you ran into the belt? Something like that?
No, it wasn't the belt. It's he grabbed my briefcase and was going to use it on the Canadian champion. I jumped up to get the hapless referee's attention, that hapless moron Hitzman, who's our referee. And instead of getting the referee's attention, he used it to strike me right in the head. Go back, search up on the Hannibal TV.
No, you're right. I remember you. I remember that. But I spoke to Dupree. He said that you all lost grip of the bag, and he was helping you to grab it, and you pulled, and it pulled out of his hand and hit you in the face. That's what he said that happened. So I don't know where you're coming up that he really hit you in the face with that. I don't know.
Look at the footage. I got it right here. I crumpled like a 260-pound sack of garbage. I was out on the concrete, and I had concussion symptoms for 2 weeks following this. I was in a dark room, repetitive headaches. I was in bad shape, and it was an absolutely uncalled for, for a guy that likes to be a man of the people. He's so popular with the fans. He is a dirty rule breaker, and it's over for him. I'm actually very, very excited about this. Nathan Banner, he's wrestled in Japan. He's wrestled all over the United States. He's been away from the sport for a while, but he's coming back with a vengeance. And the first victim is going to be Mr. Dupree.
Oh, well, I mean, if you said you had concussions and you was in the black room and with headaches, maybe your memory's a little bit distorted, in regards to what happened. But again, I wasn't there. I just know that Renee told me that it was an accident, that it was you, that accidentally hit yourself in the face with the briefcase. So, hey, man, I don't know who's telling the truth, but I'm going to go with Renee because Great Up North Wrestling has been pulling some high spots on all these top talents. And I don't know, man, you guys are becoming shady. Maybe you should call yourself Air Canada instead of, Great Up North Wrestling.
Well, I'm not gonna argue with that one. That was a rare moment of clarity lately on your part, but fans, you're going to see from top to bottom, and I'm going to announce the rest of the card on June the 20th live on the Hannibal TV with co-promoter Jeff Hoover, our longtime ring announcer. I'm going to announce the entirety of the card, but you're going to see quality professional wrestling that Napanee has been so starved for. We're not a bunch of amateurs. We don't have goofy costumes, guys dressed up like dogs. We bring quality professional wrestling to the table, and you're going to want to be there at the Strathcona Paper Center. Tickets are on sale right now at ticketweb.ca. I guarantee the family and every fan will be more than happy with the outcome of a fabulous night of quality pro wrestling action, of which, again, we've got a lot of matches there. I'm looking forward, obviously, to the end of Rene Dupree, but the ladies' action, the Mario Mancini match, the Blood Hunters return, and Mr. Kingpin here having to, what is that term, Kingpin? Walk the walk as opposed to talking the talk only?
Yeah, that's the correct terminology. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you. I was just looking over my Great Up North contract. I just want to make sure that my per diem is written in this contract because I ain't paying for no food when I'm up there. Yeah, that's the correct terminology.
Well, remember, part of the fun is that you will be coming in on the 27th, and we're going to do that long-awaited poutine review that we couldn't do in February because Air Canada canceled your flight. So
yeah, that's why I was making sure the per diem was in my contract. That's why I wanted to make sure.
That's taken care of. That's no problem at all. What food aside from poutine are you most looking forward to? Because I know we're focusing on poutine and that's going to be part of it. But if you had to look at, I know you're a Tim Hortons fan. Is there anything else that you're craving?
To be honest with you, I mean, besides the poutine, every place we went to was just, simple pizza and stuff like that. The candy bars, I'm a huge mark for the candy bars because we don't have the, certain, like the Aero chocolate bars, and stuff. And, but you know what? Big Daddy's probably going to have a bunch of that crap in his bag, so I'll probably just sneak a couple bars out of there, But yeah, it's the candy. So fans out there, if you want to bring me some Canadian candies, Kingpin accepts that, I just like poutine. I can't remember everything I had when we went to that restaurant.
You're not a big drinker, but Canadian beer, without a doubt, is superior to American beer. Would you be interested in having a little export per se or something like that?
I drink, but it's not I'm just a social drinker, and then you can't even say a social. So when I come to Canada, yeah, I'll have a couple beers. But when I'm in home, relaxing or out and about, or even going to a restaurant, I do things when I go out of town. Philadelphia, New York City, like my Puerto Rico trip, that's costing me a lot of money. That's what happens when you're a heavyweight champion and you get all that type of accolades and you get all type of gimmicks, so I'm going to be in Puerto Rico. I wonder if this would leave a tan line. I was just kidding. Anyway, but
when are you going to Puerto Rico? After June 29th?
No, December, man. I'm gonna go in and celebrate the Christmas holidays. Got a nice Airbnb. I got a nice boat, to enjoy life and stuff. And
you won't even have that belt to worry about then.
No, this belt will be with me. You say that, but maybe what, for you and only you, I will cut a promo from San Juan, Puerto Rico, with this belt, so what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he'll pass through airport security. I don't know.
Wanted to take a second and get your memories of a particular match of yours, a classic ECW match that I posted some stills on social media, and just get your memories of working Balls Mahoney. Here you are doing, what you do best, and that's dirty tactics with a chair about to strike Balls there, and of course you did, knocked him down. The table, you see your partner Mr. DeVito in the background putting the lighter fluid on the table, you and Tony here hoisting Balls up, and boom, right through the table, and celebrating your misdeeds there in the end. Was that you and Tony against Tajiri and Balls, and what do you remember from that match?
Oh, sorry. I was just admiring the craftsmanship of this belt. You were talking about my match. No, the thing was, it was Balls Mahoney versus Tajiri. And, and that's when at a certain point in that match, we just had enough of his shenanigans, and we came out and put boots to asses, on Balls Mahoney. God rest his soul. Another individual I put underground. You know what I'm saying? Every individual that faces the ball, there's side effects when you face us, heart disease, bad back, memory loss. When we put the beat in, we put the beat in. I love Balls, great dude. He's my boy. But once we get through those ropes, you become my enemy, and I don't hold back punches. And we beat the brakes off him too. We beat the brakes off of Axel. I mean, all the feuds that I have, look who's still standing. That's the truth. Still me and DeVito still standing.
That's hard to argue with, but I don't think I've ever asked you this question before in terms of your tag matches with DeVito as the Baldies. What if you had to narrow it down to your favorite match? When was that? Against whom? And where did it take place? And any memories of that?
Well, brother, I'm going to drop the F-bomb right here. I'm going to say it was fantastic. It was RVD and Kid Cash versus the Baldies. We were in New Hampshire. It was a great match. All my matches were great, but that one stood out the most. You know, it was just nonstop back and forth action. You know, slapped the crap out of Rob Van Dam. You know, he tried to throw those spinning round kicks, bob and weave, left jab, right jab. You know, I was just tagging him. You know, I mean, maybe he was too high. Maybe he was smoking on the, you know, the little sticky icky, you know, but, you know, it was a great match, you know, but again, we came up on top, you know, well, no, technically we came up on top, but DeVito fucked up and he got the 5-star splash on DeVito, but Rob Van Dam never pinned my ass. So, you know, I'll go off those type of accolades right there, you know, because again, remember, Paul Roma trained DeVito, Johnny Rodz trained me. 2 different styles, 2 different drives, and he just ran on E at that time. Sorry, DeVito, you're my boy, but I got to be 100. I was still going 100 miles an hour.
Has Tony? I know you had that match in the ECW arena this past April. Has Tony hung up or left his boots in the ring or whatever? Is he retired? Do you know? Or?
Oh man, that fool! One minute he was like, "I'm retiring." The next minute, I never said that. He doesn't know when he's retiring. When he retires, that's when I get the phone call. Me, H.C. Loke, you know, because he was with the Carnage Crew, the second greatest tag team in, you know, they'll always be second, you know, and both of them are my Marty Jannetty's, you know. I mean, those are the guys that, you know, if Kingpin was not in their life, they would not be in nowhere. Right now, Loke is a contractor. He builds houses and sinks and bathtubs. He had a good profession after he left pro. You know, he still wrestles, but, you know, he knew that his days were numbered, so he had to build up his craft of building houses, you know. So if you ever want your floors done, you want your toilets, you want some brass pipes, call HC Loke. You know, Matt Knowles is his real name. He'll take care of you. And he's up there and close to, you know, like Poughkeepsie, Binghamton, so he could go up to Canada quick. So, yeah.
I like upstate New York for sure. So is it possible that we could see a Baldies match in Great North Wrestling in the future?
Absolutely, man. I mean, if you want to get to Vito, of course, you know, you could get to Vito. We do a 3-man tag team with Loke, you know, because again, he always loves to come up there, but he hates. I don't know if the fucker likes to fly. That fucker drives everywhere. That dude drives. He does not. There's some weird reason he does not like to fly. I mean, I could be wrong, but every time he's always coming into the shows, and I'm talking far, like from Binghamton, New York, all the way to Texas. He drives. So maybe I never asked him that.
We'll have to look into that in the future. But I got a question on social media that wanted to pose to you. We are having a meet and greet on the 29th, starting at 6 p.m. And the fans are going to want to meet all their favorite superstars and have an opportunity to interact with them. Are you going to be part of that, or will you be just so, despite my best assurances and everything, will you be so stressed out in the back that you're going to finally part with that gold that you won't be able to come out and meet your fans, sign some autographs, or where do you think you're going to land on that?
Well, first of all, I would love to meet up with the fans, but like I said, as soon as Trudeau found out I was coming into Canada, he was like, "Hey, we got to hang out, even before or after the show, or even both, you know, because I haven't seen you in years." So it depends on when I get back to the building, you know, if he comes picks me up, because usually he sends like a private helicopter to my location.
Yeah.
Bro,
no,
I mean,
no expense, right? Spare no expense, right?
He spends no expense on people he loves. You know, the guy is an open book of love. That's why I love Canada. He shares that love and it spreads across the land like in the Lion King, man. It's just complete sunshine, but anyway, but regardless, if we don't meet up, yeah, definitely I'll be doing the autograph session. I mean, I know he has a lot of responsibilities, so of course, he can't drop everything just for the Kingpin, so I respect that. So yeah, there's a possibility I'll be there. And no, I'm not going to be in the back. First of all, I hope there's room in the back, because Big Titty Oreo, don't know if there's going to be enough room for come think of it. I need a private locker, because I don't want to smell him across the hallway smelling like pork rinds and playing his guitar and crumbs all over his shirt. So he looks like a healthy Balls Mahoney. That's what he looks like.
I noticed you didn't call him Big Daddy Oreo when we had him on the screen here.
I thought the interview was gonna go a little bit longer, man. And I can't hit him with all my material. I gotta, it's not, it's not a trip hammer, of constant punches, man. It's left jab, right jab, wait, duck, right cross. You know what I'm saying? So I was building up to it, but you're the one that's like, hey, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate you, Big Daddy. We know you can't interview for shit. So we just got to get you off. He's like a Biden, bro. He's everything's scripted for him. So,
wow, you're hitting the insults pretty good today.
Hey man, bro. If I had a switch, man, you can have Biden. We'll take Trudeau, because he'll make America great again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no comment. So at the end of the day, fans, we're really getting close. 2 weeks down to this huge event, the Napanee Schools Out Slam. You see, Angel,
it's not open.
It's
not open yet.
Well, you might need to keep that sealed indefinitely. But tickets are available at ticketweb.ca. It's a huge card. Want to thank our sponsors again: The Buckle in Kingston, Universal Plumbing and Septic Services, and Hooves Hit Records, Jeff Hoover, who I again will be doing a show with to run down the entire card on the 20th of June here on the Hannibal TV.
And that's pretty cool.
As this is going to be the last of shooting from the hip shows that we have before the big event, I'm going to give you the final words, the final thoughts. And if I could ask just for a second, if you could be straight with the audience. We all love hearing the jokes and the infamous life of the Kingpin.
I'm always straight.
But this is serious. This is a situation where you're carrying that title that you've had for so long. You fought so hard to win it, and it could very well be the last time that you have it. So with that in mind, can you give us, the fans, some final thoughts?
Let me put this down for a second.
Maybe I'll single screen you here. How's that?
And let me be serious for a minute. Quote Lance Storm. No, seriously. I joke around a lot, and I like he says, that's part of who I am. But the point is this. I'm being honest, Big Daddy. I really don't think you should, step in the ring with me. I'm shooting from the hip, not promoting my show. I am being 100% transparent. It's not worth it. You have a lot to live for. You have a wife. You have family that loves you. Don't risk it. I've seen a lot of athletes that had potential, and they bit off more than they can chew, and then they end up in some type of facility eating mashed potatoes, yogurt, oatmeal, and then in their mind, they're crying, realizing they made a mistake. Please, I'm begging you, not for my sake, for your sake, don't show up. It's not for you. It's not in your best interest, And again, Napanee, Ontario, Canada is going to be an awesome show. We're going to have Pretty Paul Roma, Mario Mancini. We're going to have Rene Dupree. We're going to have the Blood Hunter. We're going to have, Banner. I mean, this is going to be a nonstop show, man. So show up, support. Wrestling is great in Canada. So please come down there. You're going to enjoy it. You're not going to regret it. Like I said, besides Gentleman Jack, that's the only thing you'd be regretting. The You're going to have a fun. There's going to be good food, good entertainment. Come, support Great Up North Wrestling.
So, fans, that's it for this edition of Shooting from the Hip. Once again, June 29th, Napanee, Ontario, Canada. Napanee Schools Out Slam. Tickets at ticketweb.ca. Oh, you got the belt upside down. There you go.
God damn it. Let me fix that.
There you go.
That's better.
That title will be on the line, and it'll be the last match ever for Rene Dupree. Until next time, I'm Jack Kilby for the Kingpin.
And this is Kingpin. June 29th in Napanee, Ontario, Canada. I'm going to be defending my Hardcore Roadtrip title against Big Daddy Oreo. The guy who they've been saying that this is going to be my demise. This is the guy who is the biggest man in Canada. I've been telling the gentleman Jack that this individual doesn't have the pedigree to face one of the hardcore legends in professional wrestling. I'm the man who put New Jack 6 feet under. I'm the man who put stress on his heart because he couldn't handle the Kingpin. And now you want to put me against Big Daddy. I'm going to keep it 100, Big Daddy. I told Gentleman Jack on the show, on Shooting from the Hip, that you have nothing to back you. And people have been putting a lot of stuff in your head, telling you that you have the talent, you have the size, you have the ability to beat me. And dude, you need to get those people out of your head, because the fact is, you don't have none of that. So June 29th, I'm going to be defending this title, and I'm going to be walking away with this. Brother, be prepared, because Big Daddy Oreo, you have an expiration date, and that is June 29th in Napanee, Ontario, Canada. I'll see you there, brother.
Call 54 to base! Call 54 to base! This is Lieutenant Cole Choa. I need immediate backup. Officer down in the vicinity